Coming at you live from responsible distances apart. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. What's going on, you crazy cats and kittens out there? Hey, I said it right. I said it. Hey, I did it. My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram.
That's right. We're real proud of you, by the way, for figuring out how to say it this week. Kittens. I know last week was a little bit of a struggle. Yeah. Kittens. I'm real proud of you. Us? Please let us know if you can hear us, because that's a very important step in the process we learned last week. Thank you all for that. If you can hear me, my name is Brooke. You can find me at BrookeMe3 on Twitter and Instagram. And on today's show, we got, we're going to call it encouraging news. Is that what we're going to call it? Do we feel encouraged?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I don't feel discouraged now by the news. I mean, I don't know.
It's apparently potentially almost baseball season, so we will get into that. The Dodgers just wrapped up their second Zoom party, and we have thoughts. THOT.
We have thoughts for sure.
That's post-game show 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. You got to see the sequel. It's a real good follow-up. Korean baseball is live. Well, it's going to be live at like 1 a.m., right? 1 a.m.
Yes.
Yeah, it's about to be live.
So on our time, it's going to be 10 p.m.
10 p.m.?
Yeah.
Oh, I can actually watch it then. I was going to wake up in the middle of the night to watch it.
We're also going to talk potentially about Kike's last ride. There's more than just Mookie Betts this season we're about, and so much more. But first, we got to tell you about a few things. We got to tell you that we are part of the Overtime Podcast Network. There's a button right there. Mm-hmm. Please do rate, review, and subscribe to our show. We're on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We're all the places that you can get your podcasts for free. That we're there, so do that. And also subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Dodgers Nation TV. We'd appreciate that. Hit that notification bell. Wait, there it is. I did that. So there.
You did that.
I hoard myself out a little bit. Also, we do got to give a shout out to our friends. I think they're above my head right now. I think they're right here. We have to give a shout out to our partner over at Sportscaster. Sportscaster.com, where you could be the star of your own show. You can look like a pro and sound like a pro with built-in studio graphics, access to special events. You can find a way to set it up where you look cool like us, or, are we cool? I'm getting word from the producer. The producer says we're hella.
No, I had to get my Star Wars thing because it's May 4th.
Yeah, May the 4th be with you guys. And
Reno Moore called it out, so I have to think.
Go check out sportscaster.com. That is CSTR.com after our stream here today.
After our stream. It is May the 4th, guys, and I'm sure you guys are watching a lot of Star Wars, but don't do that until after this stream either. We're very important. Don't forget, guys, this is a live stream. We are live in action. We will answer your questions, comments, concerns below, so let us know where you're repping Dodgers Nation from. Give us a shout out, and we'll try to shout you out in the comments below. I'm going to jump into those comments a little bit. We got Christopher Ariza.
Oh, Cariza,
big fan of the show, says, "What's up, Clint? What's up, Brooke?" And then he says, "Oh, and hey, Gary." So, Gary gets a shout out every time.
Also,
Katie over on YouTube says, "I don't know what to do when you guys aren't 15 minutes late." And boy, is that ever true. I don't know how to be on time. And today we are. I don't know what happened. Good job, us.
Man, call it out.
Technically, we're early because I did pitch that we were going to go on at 7:15. But then this version of the Zoom party was so much worse as they tried to tighten it up. They shortened it. So we're here early, but on time, but still semi-late if we're sticking to our usual 7 o'clock.
I don't know that we've ever been early, ever, in the history of us.
We've had our moments.
We said we're early and we should just wait, and then someone forgot to look at the clock, and then we're late.
Gail, look, not our Gail, but another Gail on Facebook. Appreciate you hanging out with us. It's not in California. In order for sports to happen, they have to pass stage 3. So we'll get more into that in a little bit. For Chris, man, our guy, it's 11 p.m. for him there in Boise. So I don't think he's going to be staying up watching too much KBO.
Yeah. So his game doesn't start till 11. I mean, you could stay up and watch a little bit, right? 11's not that late. Right?
No. Oh, gotcha. I thought it was 11 for him right now. I don't know.
No, math is hard,
Hold on, wait. You didn't have to actually wait. You could have continued on.
You made me thirsty by drinking, so I had to drink too.
What's that?
Here, let me hand you this one, Gary.
Roach is we did. We did say 7:15, but we just wanted this to be a pleasant surprise, right? Is that what we did?
It seems like you're
internet.
you're getting you're getting some of that Cody internet, or sorry, Kenley Jansen internet there. Rhino asked why we aren't dressed like Star Wars characters. We're just not that committed. Just plainly be happy we're here early.
I am dressed as a Star Wars character.
I have this BB-8 right here.
You have what? Oh yeah, I do have BB-8. Yeah. I had like a whole one of the iterations of sets that we've had over time. I had Darth Lasorda, but it's gone now. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate all the comments. Keep the comments coming in, and it seems like we'll just jump right into it. Seems like as the reports are coming out today, or mainly the tweets, it seems like it could actually potentially maybe be baseball season for real, ? Things are happening. Who was it? A former MLBer Trevor Plouffe put out a tweet that basically backed up what our old pal, Mr. Pirate Bob Nightingale, saying it looks like MLB sort of has July officially but unofficially circled on that calendar. It may be in pen. It may be in pencil. I don't know. I don't know about all that. What Nightingale said, and this is a quote, everybody I've talked to are so optimistic. So I'm going to go with July 4th weekend. Everybody keeps targeting that weekend, and you could at least count 100 games in. We keep focusing on that 100 games in. It meshes with, the July we've heard now for the last, I think we heard that initially like a month ago. It was probably going to be July. But wait, there's more. Like I said, Trevor Plouffe. I don't know how he became like a podcast host at John Boy, but I guess he just plainly did not spend that draft money well. He seemed to sort of confirm that sentiment with his we're gonna go with hashtag or air quote and hashtag sources. His was, I just heard from multiple sources that on June 10th, Spring Training 2.0 will start. July 1st will be opening day, and all teams will be playing at their own ballparks. One, you can't have every team playing at their home ballpark. It's not possible unless they're not playing against an opponent. So, way to go, Trevor.
Well,
making athletes
smart. To be fair, Nightingale in his own separate article also said if teams aren't playing in the city with a second team, then their spring training games will be inter-squad games, which I mean, that's what the KBO was doing up until they played. They were playing inter-squad games. They weren't playing other teams during their spring training. So it's possible. It's possible that the Dodgers will be playing other Dodgers during spring training. And then obviously, you can't do that during the season.
Yeah, if they're doing there you go. If they're doing the spring training thing at home, which it really does seem like they're going to do, and given the fact that the Dodgers roster was still at like 50 by the time spring training ended. So these players still need to get ready. Even the minor leaguers, for whatever the minor league season may look like, these kids still need to get ready for some form of baseball. So it does make sense to at least have an inter-squad game. I had wrote in one of our articles about like the potential of having it like a little league field being rented out or checked out, or a softball game, slow pitch softball game. All right, you guys have the 8:00 game and these people have the 9:00 game, something like that, because you do have to spread it out. But
right.
immediately. Players were kind of jumping on Plouffe, saying, I think it was Travis Shaw was one of them, saying, I don't know where you're getting this info. I haven't heard of it. And, he's an active Major League Baseball player. Gavin Lux did back up what Travis Shaw was saying on that. So another one, Hank Schulman, who writes for the Chronicle, I think, he's a Giants baseball like beat writer or whatever. He what did he say? He said, let me just read it here. It says, "This is fantastic. It's also untrue. MLB folks have no idea where Plouffe got these ideas from or these dates, but it wasn't from them." So all of that long-winded way around. Where do we stand on this? Go, Brooke.
So I was strangely enough, I've never been on the Schulman side of anything in my entire life, because I think he's the worst person on earth. Like he's their Splashkey, and so I really don't like him at all. But initially when I read this, I was like, I just don't see Trevor Plouffe of all people having inside track on information that nobody else knows right now. So I was like, all right, that's probably not true. then I looked at it and I was like, you know what? It's probably a shot in the dark. It's probably just going off of, yeah, we run into these things all the time. Clint, you can confirm this, that every once in a while there's a guy who just throws 30 things at the wall waiting for one to land so he can become credible. And sometimes it happens. Sometimes people will throw hundreds and hundreds of things at a wall and all of a sudden they land one major trade or one major signing that no one else had. And they're like, oh, I guess this guy's legitimate. Suddenly gets 20, 30, 50,000 followers. It happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Plouffe is not that guy. He's not an inside track guy. It doesn't make sense. But I mean, if you're looking at all the information that's come out so far, those dates still make sense. They're certainly not out of the question. So it made me hopeful for a second. Like, hey, it's still realistic. At least there's that. Even if it's not 100% like, hey, it's starting June 10th and baseball's getting going by July. I would really like baseball to be back by the 4th of July. It just makes sense to me. I just need it.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about a little bit off and on here over the last couple of weeks. We talked about with Jay Hare. I mentioned it, last week. If I don't even know if I kept that part in because the internet might have gone bad for Haley Joel Osment, but baseball and America just go together, and what better way to show like people can come together, than this symbolic showing of, hey, we can come back from this. Look at how normal we are. We're playing baseball again, but nobody's in the seats and all that kind of stuff. But don't worry about that baseball.
I don't care, man. So if you guys have been watching The Last Dance, they showed a whatever they're calling it, the greatest scrimmage that no one ever saw, or whatever they call it, when it was both sides of the dream team that were scrimmaging, and it was really strange to hear a professional basketball game played without people. Like you can hear the noise, you can hear all the players yelling at each other, and it sounds strange. It's just really weird. I'm looking forward to watching the KBO and seeing how it sounds without anybody there. And it's going to be, a lot of it's going to be judged off of that. And a lot of it's going to be based off of how I look forward to the MLB season is based off of how it goes in KBO. So if it's weird, it's weird. I don't care. It's baseball. I don't care if it's uncomfortable. I don't care if it's awkward. I just want baseball back. Do you remember that game where the Orioles played without fans?
It was Orioles White Sox, I think. Yeah. After everything went to hell in Baltimore. You remember that, Gary? Did you happen to see that game or see the notes about that? No. It only happened like 5 years ago or something. I think there was riots.
That long ago, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. And they knew it was one game. So they made it, it was more fun. It was more of a showing.
It was hilarious when the announcer called it like a golf hack. He was like, and the fly ball to center field off the base of the wall. Adam Jones takes second. They had fun with it. It was fun.
Yeah, you can make it fun, but how long can you make it fun? Go ahead, Gary.
I mean, I get why they want to play it with no fans. Honestly, I wouldn't mind watching a few games. Watching the games with no fans, because I want to hear the interaction. I want to hear the, like, how Clayton Kershaw was making fun of Andre Ethier today, saying how, like, oh man, if Dre was back and there were no fans in the stands, like the things that he would say and the things that everybody would hear. That's the kind of stuff that I like. It's like when you go to the park and watch your friends play, you joke around, all those inside jokes or just like those quick wit remarks. That's just fun, and I think, if Joe's announcing the game or whatever, I hope he lets it, he stays quiet a little bit and lets us listen to the sounds of the game a little bit.
Gary, you've sat a couple times pretty close to dugouts and right behind home plate, so you get a little bit of a inside track on what players are saying around the game. I guess we sit in the left field pavilion, so we don't get to hear crap except other people yelling. So, I mean, it is a fun experience to kind of feel like you're in the game like that, to get to hear the players like chirping at each other. You're like, oh yeah, I forget they actually talk to each other during the game, because when you're just at the field, you don't hear anything.
No. Yeah, and I think those are you're right. I've been fortunate enough to be invited to go watch some of those games up close, and listening to the players play it is a different experience. And hopefully, people like who never get to sit that close to hear them talk, maybe this is their opportunity to do that. And then later on, then we can bring the fans back, and you do feel the energy in a crowd. You can't replace that. So
I think it would be something like they would have to have it where the dugouts are mic'd up. They need to get a little bit more, because there's no doubt that these players could psych each other up. There's 25 men, 26, whatever. There's gonna probably be 30 people on the active rosters each day. There's gonna be some of the on-field staff. There's gonna be coaches. There's gonna be enough players there, or people there, for both sides to make it at least enjoyable enough for these players. You got to figure these kids have been playing all of their lives up until MLB, been playing all of their lives in front of at most 4,000, 5,000, maybe 8,000 on a good bobblehead night in the minor leagues or something like that. They're used to just playing baseball. We all grew up just playing baseball with ourselves out in the front yard or at a park or something like that. I think these dudes can do that for, a lot of money for one, and we'll go back to it. A lot of money for one, but also like for the greater good of humanity. If you want to, overstep the what baseball means to people, it won't be as bad as we think. The worst part of it is, the owners aren't going to want it because they're missing out on all those Mitchie sales and all that kind of stuff. But it's just the way the ball bounces.
It's better than nothing. Now. I mean, what's the alternative? The alternative is no baseball. And so at this point, I'm like, I'll take anything. I'll take change divisions. I'll take a weird playoff format. I'll take higher roster counts. I'll take a universal DH at this point. And you guys know how much I'm against the universal DH. I hate the designated hitter. I think it lessens the game. I think it cheapens the game. I hate it. But if that's what we have to do, I got no problem with that. Clint, do you have?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I was going to say, Clint, do you have, like, if you're taking the fan aspect out of the game, if that aspect's gone, you're obviously missing some sort of entertainment value. What can you do to add entertainment value to a game without fans? Because I know miking up players seems to be a pretty hot topic, and people are like, we should do more of that. Like, regardless of no fans, we should be doing more of that. And I would tend to agree. I love that.
They were doing that in spring training. You had like Freddie Freeman calling his shot, running around the bases when he knew it was going to be like a wind double or something like that. Chris Bryant calling it. Like it brings an added value. I mean, I probably wouldn't mic up the batters like you would mic up the bench a little bit more. Maybe non-essential coaches.
Right.
You probably don't want to get the in the ear of Dave Roberts while he's making his brilliant decisions or what have you. But you can find the way to up the engagement value. I mean, the value is already going to be there, and like you were saying with KBO, we're going to learn a lot about that. Like how dedicated really are we to baseball? And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of us all online watching. Who's playing tonight? I forget. I mean, look, I wrote it down. No, I didn't. I wrote it down. The two teams are playing tonight in KBO. And back to you in the studio.
All I know is that my Doosan Bears don't play till Wednesday.
I'm torn right now because the Heroes are trying to pull Dodgers Nation to their side, and the Heroes employed Jerry Sands was a hero last year, and he led all of the KBO and RBIs. So he went and took that talents and got paid. Now he's playing in the Japan League, but they're not playing. So
I was mistaken. My Doosan Bears do play tonight. They play the LG Twins at 10:00. So you can catch me watching my Doosan Bears. I don't know how you guys picked out your teams, your KBO teams, but I chose mine based off of the fact that Doosan did not sound like a large corporation. I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about them, and all I know is that they play in Seoul.
Yeah, I think they're the only ones who aren't like the
LG Twins or the Kia, whatever, Samsung Lions,
Montes or something like that. Whatever the hell they are. Let me see. It's everybody loves the Dinos, NC Dinos. That's been a big team so far. Samsung is also going tonight. So we'll get more into the KBO in a little bit. But there's ways to make the game entertaining, even if it's cardboard cutouts in the stadiums or in the stands or something like that. There's still baseball, and there's still the entertainment value of the players BSing with one another. That's like we saw in the Zoom call, like Gary was alluding to. But digging into a couple of the comments here a little while back. Sorry guys, we'll get into your comments. We went off. That's what we do. We have tangents.
This is Korean Baseball Nation.
Thank you. Valerie on Facebook said, I'm okay without fans to start. I just need sports back. So that's the correct sentiment to have there for sure. I don't know what the context was, but I agree. Rhino on YouTube said Brooke probably hates more people than anyone ever. It can't be healthy. Brooke,
it's true.
Confirm you're not very healthy, right?
Not healthy. I do hate a lot of people. I'm not very, what do you call that? Friendly.
He's not your friendly neighborhood, Brooke.
I am not. Yeah, if you see me at a game, do not talk to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Chris wants to know what Gary's drinking. What are you drinking, Gary?
Just water. I've had a long day and I forgot to get a drink before the show. I'm sorry. My mom came by.
All good.
You know, I had
This guy being all healthy.
Yeah.
No, he's probably gonna pass out. He told me what he like wolfed down before we went live here. So, prayers up. We're losing Gary tonight.
My shrimp allergy is gone. I can probably eat shrimp again. So, I'm very happy about that.
I like that you tested it now.
Oh,
no better time.
I have a medicine cabinet full of Benadryl now. If I did, because I do swell up, my ears swell up, my throat swells up, everything, and like I have the Benadryl just in case.
So Lisa said, I originally hated the idea with baseball without fans. Now I'd love to just watch any Dodger games. And I think that's how a lot of people have taken this, as we reach into month 2 or whatever, step into full month 2 of no baseball, no sports, no allowed out of the house sort of thing.
Oh, I do have an
anything.
idea. I do have an idea to make it more engaging. If everybody watches baseball in their backyard, and then when there's a home run, everybody in their backyard cheers, it'll be like the stadium. Just saying. If that's the only game in town, I would encourage everybody to watch outside. And when you cheer, you're going to hear your neighbors cheer, and that'll be very fun.
2 things. I'm right on the borderline of Pico Rivera, and it's really close to 4th of July. So I can tell you, a lot of homies around here already got the fireworks going. So we're good. If we're all on the same channel, we got this. And thankfully, sports in LA is now available to more networks and all that kind of stuff. Let's get into a couple more. Katie's 100% down for no fans, specifically to hear the hit mics when all the teams fight the Astros. That's
one thing I hadn't considered, is that they're going to have to prepare for. I mean, all the games are going to have to be on a pretty decent delay, because they're going to need to filter out some words, because it's going to be a lot easier to hear these guys. And I mean, Clint, you've been known to throw out a few words during a softball game. That means
I don't
nothing.
know what you're talking about.
So imagine these guys playing for something and playing against the Astros. There's going to be some words for sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. I think the 5th.
We got a Rhino Moore saying the Android Pixels. It's a really good creative baseball team. So
couple points for that. We got a lot of people now.
I guess Doosan is a brand.
Yeah. I wasn't going to be the one to tell you, but that's
all right. Doosan still sounds cool.
It seems like a lot of people are really on the KBO right now. People want to talk about the KBO. So let's get into it, guys. Let's move down to KBO. Korean baseball is, in my opinion, 100% coming to our rescue. Am I wrong in that probably overstated or overblown assessment? Is that where you guys kind of somewhat feel?
Gary?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've been ahead of us in everything in terms of like containing this thing and learning how to live with it. They had a taste of SARS like 15 years ago, so they understand what to do there. I mean, living this, it's showing us what we might have to go through in the early parts of our recovery. And it's entertainment, and they're going to be super fun. You've seen Asian baseball fans go nuts over the game. So, their players know how to play. We've had our own Korean players on our squad, and we know how good they're going to be. So it's going to be good quality baseball. I'm looking forward to just watching it and just hearing Korean cursing online and just, seeing how it goes. It'd just be like a night in K-Town. Yeah.
They also have the best bat flips in all of baseball, in my opinion. I don't think anybody does it better. If you looked at Ryu, like in his bat flips, like, because he would bat flip on a ground out, like that's just what he did. But if you look at his bat flips, you're just like, at first I was like, oh, he just does that on accident. He doesn't even know what he's doing. And then when I started seeing these KBO highlights, I was like, oh, they bat flip the crap out of it. That's where that comes from. So if you guys like bat flips, which I love bat flips, love that crap. Let the kids play. I'm all about it. Yeah. I'm excited.
And it's not let the kids play up to a certain point. No, like actually let's
have some fun. Play. Let them have fun.
So you really hope, that because I mean, there's going to be a lot of eyes on the KBO tonight and 6 days a week now because ESPN and the Korean baseball organization, I think it's organization, right? Line. They came to an agreement where now ESPN is going to be the exclusive home of KBO, so there will be baseball on your television sets 6 nights a week. The bad part is there's a big time difference. If you're living in LA, you're probably going to get baseball at about 10 p.m., which just honestly makes me feel more for all the people that we know, like on the East Coast watching Dodger games. Like,
oh yeah,
how do people start watching a game at 10?
We also have some Australian fans that watch our show, and so mad respect to you guys for the time difference. Because first of all, don't even know what the time difference is. Could be in the middle of the day, so it's not a problem. But
it's tomorrow right now.
Whoa!
The world of tomorrow, today,
it's the future tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's a Cody thought.
Ask him for bets.
Let's see. So we got people already picking teams here. Let's. I feel like I really got to point out that my biggest. I've probably already said my biggest takeaway a number of times tonight. I'm not paying enough attention to what I'm saying, but the most important thing to me is that we do get baseball on Taco Tuesday, and it's not just any Taco Tuesday. Yes, it is Cinco de Mayo Taco Tuesday. So hell yeah, I don't have like a. I don't have a Volver button, but
isn't it just like truly fitting that the one time Taco Tuesday falls on Cinco de Mayo, we can't go outside? Isn't that just fitting?
It is sad.
I'm sad.
Taco Tuesday.
Big sad.
But I will have
Rest in
tacos.
peace, California
I'm gonna
tacos.
find somebody to get tacos. Actually, I have carne asada in the fridge. I'm gonna make carne asada.
I have Instacart bringing me asada and some pollo tomorrow. So
I'm stopping at the taco truck at some point tomorrow. So
wait, is it open?
They are open very random times. So maybe. I'm assuming they're 100%.
Now you did it. You broke
tomorrow.
Gary. You broke Gary.
Dude.
Yeah, Gary. They've been
Gary's
like
gonna leave
open
right now.
Like I drove by the other night and they were open, but then I drove by the next night and they weren't open. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe they're posting it on Instagram or something and I just don't know.
Maybe.
Also, for all you people who don't know what this taco truck is, your life sucks. I'm sorry.
It's Los California Tacos on the corner of California
Don't give it
and
away.
Fair Oaks. Good
Don't
luck.
give it away.
One of the best tacos I have ever had in my entire life.
They're pretty solid. Gary bullies me into eating a lot of tacos. Somebody please help.
10 tacos at a
by
time.
driving me there so we can have a lot of tacos. KBO. Hamilton's in the stream. What's going on, Hamilton? Unless he's not around anymore because his stuff came in a little while ago. But he's talking about Doosan. So he's a Doosan guy. He's going for the Bears. And he already has a I guess sort of a chant for them. He says, in the tune of Du Hast. He says Doosan. Doosan. So give Hamilton the clap there.
Hear that.
Roach is going for the Kia Tigers. There's actually an IE boy playing on the Kia Tigers, Aaron Brooks. So we can not only can we root for an IE boy, we can root for a Brook.
Oh, 2-for-1 special.
2 for 1. O'Brien says bet on the KBO. O'Brien 184. Oh, I mean, bro, of course we're gonna be betting on that. That's the whole point of this. Let's see. What else you got? Oh, yeah. He also points out Aaron, number 9, or in the 909, yes, Aaron Brooks.
Michael Velarde says, you haven't had my tacos, Brooks. So apparently I need to try more tacos in the world because there's a lot of good tacos out there.
We got to do a taco tour.
I'm down for a taco tour. Even if it's by myself, I'll do a taco tour.
That was one of the things is over here. I'm right off Whittier Boulevard. So there are a whole bunch of taco trucks that just lined the street. So I was going to make it where it was and no, I'm not giving away my street like Cody Bellinger did in the Zoom call today. We'll get to the Zoom call in a little bit because we have a few celebrity friends of the show that were in the Zoom call. But I wanted to do it where like every week, like I tried each truck's asada and just all of their meat, trying it. And then you get to the first one and you're like, oh, okay, I'll just take everything. And then you can't do it anymore. So
I did that in New York. I ate 1 hot dog per block for 9 blocks.
I can see.
Yeah.
I can see doing that.
Yeah.
It is the kind of tour. We should do it together. Then I'll discipline you and say 2 tacos here, 2 tacos there, 2 tacos there, and then we'll just compare.
So Rhino asked what
that.
channel the KBO will be on. It's going to be on ESPN and also on the ESPN app. So make sure you check that out. But people do give us the pulse. Like, and for the most part, it seems like the comments are pretty positive about KBO. But we know there are going to be those people. And Cespedes Family Barbecue, a great follow on Twitter. They had a tweet about that. It was, there's going to be a different brand of baseball coming to you tonight. So don't be the person like, oh, this isn't as good as MLB, because nobody ever said they're going to be as good or better or even on par, close to on par with Major League Baseball. We do it the best. That's what we're here for.
Temper your expectations. Just enjoy it for what it is. It's not going to be Major League Baseball. It's not going to be any players you recognize. It's different. But it's sports, and we need sports, and we haven't had sports for a while. I mean, I don't know what else is even out there right now besides.
Beggars cannot be choosers.
I don't even know what sports are actually going right now. I think UFC is still trying to get going.
Gels marble racing.
Oh, which you can bet on.
You can bet on. Shout out Cooper Searles. Where you at, buddy? Make sure you guys check out.
I'm gonna have to get in on your marble betting because I'm bored.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's just a bunch of dudes
are on point.
Well, dude, he's a white boy from Texas. What do you expect?
That's cheating.
Yeah,
so playing with a cheat code.
They come out of the womb throwing cornhole. Roach says NASCAR is coming back. Dan asked the KBO games
not
live.
Real NASCAR.
When in Rome. Are the games real or replay? Are they in real life? No, these are going to be actually live. I'm sure there's a slight delay to it, but they're going to be live broadcast games going on. KBO games. Watch the action. Pick your teams. But back to Cespedes Family Barbecue real quick. It says, of course, it's not going to be the same. That's not the point. Just enjoy live, meaningful baseball games and learn. Just because you don't know much about it doesn't mean you won't enjoy it. Think about when you first started being a Dodger fan. Did you know any of these players or anything about the game or the team or anything?
Nope.
Have an open perspective.
Yeah, don't be ignorant.
Yeah, don't be ignorant.
I remember the first
title of the episode.
I remember the first Dodger game I ever watched. I was like, wow, they have a really old announcer. And I mean, obviously I was a kid, but I remember being like, this guy's hella old. And then obviously that changed. So you never know. You might become a huge Korean baseball fan. You might find one player that you're like, that guy's freaking awesome. And then you just follow him for his whole career until he doesn't play anymore. And you're like, wow, Korean baseball fan. There you go.
Next year, we're going to have a big fat party in K-Town watching KBO like championship games. That's what's going to happen.
We owe a debt of gratitude to the KBO. I mean, let's be real about this. We for sure owe them something for coming back and giving us something. Even if we watch it and we're like, we don't really love this, I don't care. Like, they came back. They're our sport. It's not going to be forever. Like, it's not going to be a forever thing. And eventually our Dodgers will be back, and then we'll stop paying attention to KBO. But don't forget them, because just remember, during a time of need, look for the helpers. And the KBO, they're the helpers.
And everyone, I'm not Korean, so I'm not supporting this because I'm Korean or whatever. But just letting you know, because I've been accused of being a Korean. And I'm like,
accused of being a Korean? What are you, a Korean? No.
I love Korea, but I ain't Korean.
Me neither.
I thought you were getting to a point. You're just clarifying that you are in fact not a Korean.
He just wanted to separate himself. That's it.
Just want
to make it clear.
So, wait, Brooke, you said you have your team. You're going. Or did you now change your allegiance, knowing that?
Nah. I'm gonna stick Doosan. I think it's just a cool name. In Jacksonville, they're like the Jaguars. They're a football team that plays football apparently, and they live in Duval County, and their thing down there is like they all yell Duval. Wow, it's really redneck, strange, and foreign to me. But I don't know. Doosan sounds cooler, and I feel like the crowd, if there was a crowd, would be super hyped watching the Doosan Bears.
Oh, we could Americanize it? Like Doosan?
Yeah, we could be the Doosan Bears, So we could be the Bears.
We could be Bob
and
Bill Schwartzky super fans. Yeah, Bears. All right, I'm in. You know what? You just sorry, Kiwoom heroes. Like I'm all for all the KBO teams. Sorry, Roach. I'm pulling my allegiance now, and I'm going full blown Bears.
Doosan Bears.
Bears. Thank you.
I'm all in for the Bears.
I'm all in. Let's do it.
Can't name one player, but all in.
Dan Burdue asked how many former American pro ball players are in that KBO. So that's one of the things. It is tough to find up-to-date rosters right now. And Dan Kurwitz or something like that. He's somebody who's been running a site called mykbo.net for the longest time. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if anybody here has become aware, but all of a sudden, KBO has really spiked in popularity over the last day or so. So when you have a popularity spike, you get a lot of traffic going to a website. And if you don't have good servers, you can't handle it. So one, Dan, call us. We can help you out. Two, I think he had active rosters or up-to-date rosters on that site, but I couldn't get on there because the site was down. But that is a spot to check it out, mykbo.net. He's a dude he's been like the American KBO dude for years, I think.
The Doosan Bears have a guy named OJ Ill, and I feel like I'm going to be a really big fan of him.
So can we go get
just based
jerseys?
Off that name?
Can we get? I think we need jerseys.
O, like his first part, OH, and then J Ill, JAE-IL. So he's the one.
Travis says, I think Dan Straley is one. Yeah, Dan Straley did go to the KBO.
Oh boy, that's a throwback.
Roach says Jerry Sands, but like I said a few minutes ago, Jerry Sands did actually go to Japan. He signed this past offseason after leading the KBO and RBI. Tim Rogers has an idea for a new website, Bears Nation. What do you think, Gary?
Taken already by some guy
in
Arizona. I already searched.
Bear Heaven.
Katie says Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. Man, this Bears thing is really just pulling together. There are a lot of
people like the Doosan Bears, man. I'm willing to be a sponsor.
Yeah, our boy OJ. What was his name again?
OJ Ill.
OJ Ill. Yeah, he had I'm just going Minnesota now. I got to work on. Damn it! Now I got to work on my Chicago.
Yeah. You're moving towards the wrong side of the country.
Whatever. They all look.
It's the Doosan Bears, dude.
Hey, represent. All right. Roach says, "Don't believe anything I say. I'm from San Bernardino, and that is the greatest lesson you're going to learn here today, boys and girls.
That's true. Good point.
Never trust anybody from San Bernardino.
That's true. I've learned that the hard way.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it tonight. I love that we're talking about all this stuff, and anybody listening on the podcast side, it's going to be the next day or day or two later. And
there's reruns. You're fine.
Yeah, there's reruns. But you can watch it live. All right, boys. Zoom review. It's Zoom review to Electric Boogaloo. All right, immediately. We all were there. We all watched it. Brooke, do you want like the immediate reaction takeaways, even though it's now 40 some odd minutes later?
Oh yeah. First of all, if you guys were in that Zoom call, just please drop your thoughts, your opinions, your best moments of that chat for me. And maybe just your overarching, this is what I thought of Dodgers Zoom Call 2.0. Just do that. But with that in mind, I'm going to let you know my favorite moments from that call, because there weren't many, but I had a few. And I think I'm going to say my number one was Cody Bellinger accidentally giving out his address when he's telling a story. He gave out the street he lived on, which is just very, very on brand for Cody. Yeah. And then my second favorite part was a few seconds later when they played a video asking Cody Bellinger a question. And then he stared at the camera for 5 seconds and said, do I answer? Yeah, Cody, we need you to answer, bud.
That guy's a millionaire.
We talked about it a little bit, Clint. The quality was, it was lacking in entertainment value, was it not?
You can see the attempt at making it better than the last one. I think the first one, nobody knew what to expect going in, and that gave it some of the thrill. Yeah. And player or people like George Lopez, for example, or the wild cards of Joe Kelly and his LaCroix. That was what made it entertaining. That's what made people want to come back. I mean, besides the fact that it's Monday night and we're all desperate for things to do. To entertain the kids or what have you. I don't know. I would never worry about that sort of thing. But still, that's what made that quality. And you could see where they tried to tighten up the ship this time through. Oh, yeah. And it took away from the entertainment value for sure.
I mean, they just need something to do. I personally think they should get a bunch of the players and play Smash Brothers and just watch them talk trash to each other and just interact and just have fun. And then I think that just put together a better show. Right now, they're just talking about the same things they're being asked about every day by everybody. Yeah. And I think they're getting tired of answering the same questions. You can see it in Ross. Ross Stripling said that this was his 5th video conference of the day, and you can see he was just like, tuned out. But Clayton, Clayton's being a pro. JT's a pro. Cody, I need more Cody. Cody is freaking hilarious. That guy needs to be more on camera more. And with Kike and just talking trash, like not talking to the audience, but talking with each other. He's just a riot,
Get Cody, get Kike, get Andre Ethier. Boom. There's a show. That's all you need.
For sure. They're all
that would have been
Arizona.
entertainment. Yeah, it's for real. They live right next to each other. Staying right next to each other now. So
I think I had brought this up, but I was like, if you just put Cody Bellinger and George Lopez on a phone call, like a Zoom, and broadcasted it, I watched the hell out of that. I'd watch that for 3 hours straight without any hesitation at all. I wouldn't miss a moment. I wouldn't use the restroom. I wouldn't want to miss 1 second of that. I mean, by far, it's got to be a weird recipe. Number one, trying to put the right people on this call at the same time. Number two, actually getting people who actually want to come on the call. Yeah. I mean, would you want to? I mean, if I were, let's say I'm like, I don't know, Mario Lopez level of famous, I don't think I'd want to come on a Dodgers Zoom call on a random night in the middle of quarantine when I have all my kids. So it's got to be tough getting people on. Rebecca over on Twitter says that Cody needs to stop biting his nails. He looks so bored. And then Kenley, she also brings up that Kenley dropped out really fast because his internet wasn't working, which is another entertaining part. He's got, as soon as he was like, my internet's not working, he was gone the rest of the call. Did not come back. Fantastic.
He needs to take a picture of that background and just send it to everybody.
The shoes?
Oh, the Foot Locker? Yeah, dude.
Yeah, his Foot Locker. Kenley's Foot Locker.
Yeah,
that's like my dream.
Katie says Belly and Ethier could just stare into the camera for an hour to be. The quarantine would just get that much better. I can't help but agree with that.
Well, Kike calling his beard Amish was hilarious.
That's good too.
But Dre Day in full uniform, pants and all. That was legendary, and I guess he said Dave Vassay put him up to it, so that's great. Thank you, Dave Vassay, for doing something useful to the community. Not to say he hasn't before, but that was a good service for him right now, or for everybody. I saw one. I'll agree with Humberto here. He says I was surprised that Adrian Gonzalez was there. He seemed uncomfortable somehow.
He's different from Ethier in the sense of like Ethier has no problem being that guy that's been off of the team for a long time but still hangs around even though he doesn't have like a position with the team. Gonzo's not like that, where he's not on the team and he's not technically retired, and so it's a little different because Gonzo's still not technically retired.
Yeah,
he was as recently as last year looking for a job still.
I mean, he was looking for a job this year.
Yeah, and it's just no one was. He had to take on some other ventures with apps and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what the hell was I gonna say? It had something to do with that. It was great. It was a super story. It was tremendous. I could understand though Gonzo being a little bit more uncomfortable too, because like the boy that took his job was also on the call. like
it's true.
Your man's new girl was there at the party, so you're gonna probably just be a little uncomfortable. But
he's more comfortable than Steve Garvey.
Garvey was locked in. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, he wasn't great for the entertainment value, but the Garv was locked in.
No, he was paying attention. I could see that. And he took full advantage of his talking opportunity.
What I love is Alana wearing her displeasure with things happening on the stream, like wearing it on her sleeve, like her just
I have that screenshot.
face in hand.
I'll send it to you guys later. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you could watch that and within 2 minutes get a great screen grab of Alana just being over it. Yeah. But I will.
She's a pro. She's
a pro.
You know that when we go out there and we cover stuff, we see her work, right?
Oh yeah.
She needs to know exactly what's going on. So I think this kind of environment doesn't work for her because she doesn't know what people are gonna say. So she's just right. Some people have OCD or control issues, and like I'm one of those people. If things aren't working out, I freak out too. So
We all do.
yeah, we all do. Yeah, so it's
But
understandable. Yeah.
uh, echoing what you were saying, Gary, like about the same type of questions they're getting asked on every show. I understand the need and the merit to ask, how are you doing? How are you holding up? I mean, we even ask that, but then we get right over it anytime we're talking to anybody,
Right.
On any of our other conversations. We're not doing it on here, but you guys know I love Joe. I love Alana. They're great. There's nobody better I would want doing anything with this team or for this team. But they're so like not cookie cutter, but they're so like generic in their lines of questionings. Like Oral would go 100 times better at hosting that sort of thing, just because he's kind of a loose cannon himself, as where the other two are, like you're saying, regimented. They're by the book. They're OCD. I'm going to read the script, and this is what we're going to say right now. So let Oral host.
Let them play a game. Forget the hosting stuff. They don't want to talk. Let them
Get them on House Party or something.
Let them. Do
I
something.
think they need to get out the. I mean, me and Clint have gone through our share of interviews over the course of this quarantine, and we've kind of both been like, we just need to not do typical quarantine questions because we're both so tired of hearing those answers. I'm good. I've been trying to stay busy. I've been trying to keep in shape. We don't know when baseball is coming. I've been throwing at a wall. I'm taking hacks in a cage when I get the chance. I'm trying to stay. It's all the same crap over and over again. Nothing's changing. Yeah, it's literally. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've heard that this offseason. Yeah. Based on the number of interviews we've both done and watched, it's the same questions over and over again. So when Joe hopped in and was asking those questions, you can hear it like take the air out of a conversation where you're like, of course we're asking this. Yeah, of course that you know what they're going to say. They're not going to be like, I'm dying. That's what's happening. I'm dying.
My toe hurts. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah. So
they just had Cody on, Joe and Oral just had Cody on their podcast, and it opened with the same basic thing of how are you doing? What are you doing? And, I don't know. Where do you guys stand on the need to focus on the facial hair? Is that, I mean, we've been doing it with you and your fine mustache. But
we're not celebrities and we don't play baseball.
It's not our lead-in question to you. It's like, what's going on with that mustache? Like asking Kike that. I grew it because we're in quarantine.
I think it's the fact that they just kept pushing him on it.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's been pushed all week on it. Like I think Clint, me and you kind of caught onto this where they're like putting Dodgers players in a rotation week to week, where it's like you'll see Kike in the news cycle for 4 straight days, like doing stuff, and then you'll see Cody in the news cycle for 4 straight, and then Ross for 4. And they just keep doing that, like recycling
Ross
players.
Does to himself.
Ross does do it to himself. He's a little different, but I mean, all last week we talked about Kike's mustache. Every single news outlet, every single interview he did, every Instagram live, every whatever he did, it was all about his mustache. I'm pretty sure people saw it. I'm pretty sure people know. There's not really a need to push it too much. Maybe just be like, hey, nice mustache. Let me ask you something else real quick.
Yep.
It just, you could tell he was like, people know about this already. We don't need to really talk about this right now. Like if you wanted to get the other players' opinions, yeah. That's new. We haven't gotten that yet. Mm-hmm. But when you're like, Kike, tell me about your mustache. And he's like, I grew it. They're like, why?
Yeah.
And I don't have anything else to do.
Absolute wrong person to ask that kind of question. Because he's going to give you a deadpan answer to watch you flounder.
Yeah, because he likes it. He likes people watching them squirm. So.
Yeah, he likes watching people be suffering and blocking them.
How does it feel to be married to Mr. Puerto Rico?
That's what I would ask.
That's
sure
seriously.
That.
You got dating tips?
He's like, I got some answers for you.
Actually, they did. One of the things that kind of sucks is that they're doing that. It's a pretty cool series, that Live at the Sunset Strip. Ross is doing a thing for the Dodgers Instagram, but they're not really utilizing it right. They're not saving the video afterwards and like cutting it up in any particular way. Unless they are, I don't know. I have to ask Eric about it, but. It's a waste of really, good, honest conversations. It's the kind of stuff you're talking about, Gary, and we're talking about here. It's like hitting players one-on-one, a few in a room, just BSing together. It's a more lively conversation than the mediator type.
To be fair, I would say that the Dodgers probably have a lot of older fans that, they're the ones that call and say, I didn't like that programming. it was a little too edgy. You guys were a little too like, and it's, to be fair, like they have decades of fans, and there's fans that are going to come in, and they don't want to step on those toes. So, I'm sure we know Sue, we know Eric, we know the teams over there. They're edgy, they're funny, they're hilarious, good people, and very creative. And I used to work at Disney, so I can understand sometimes having to appeal to the older crowd because they're traditional, and you don't want to piss them off. So a lot of the ideas that you want to come up with that we're capable of doing, we can't because of old politics. So I mean, I'm just being fair. I don't want people thinking that we're just railing on them, saying like they could be better, but like understanding that there is inside politics.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely appreciate what they're doing during this time. They're
doing a great job. What they can do.
By no means do they have to do anything like this.
Right.
I mean, it certainly wasn't expected when they first threw out the first Zoom party. Me and Clint were both like, "Whoa, that's okay. That could be cool. If they're doing it, that's cool. I don't know how it's going to go, but it could be cool." And so when we saw how many people were on that first call, it was like, whoa, they got a lot of people. Like a lot of not like B-list people. Like they got like really big names out there the first day. So
I mean, heard Lon Rosen is
we're thankful for it.
Yeah. Lon is definitely pushing these people to do things, and maybe that's the guy we got to talk to. I think I was challenged to make us do a Cody Bellinger interview. So maybe we got to find a way. I'll just ask him all the same generic questions.
I'll probably just get really high and then.
What are you going to say? Are you going to say, "Hey, what's your address? Where do you live?"
Hey, Cody. So wait, what was the street name?
I forgot.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, there's a big truck out front, and I'll probably be out there. Classic Cody.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Roach says your mustache game is A1.
That's what's up. Somebody told me I look like the white Tapatio man, and I think I'm all right with that.
Oh, apparently the Doosan Bears are the defending champions.
What?
Man.
Didn't know that either.
Doosan.
I'm just naturally drawn to winners,
That's why you're here.
That's why I'm a Lakers fan. That's why I'm a Dodger fan. That's why I'm when Saints tend to lose in big situations. We won't talk about that.
Which time?
The past 5 years.
Let's talk about the one with Philly.
Every of the years.
Let's talk about the one with Philly. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too.
All right. So we've talked a lot about Kike. Talked a lot around Kike. Talked more than I would ever want to about a man's facial hair that I don't know and that has blocked me on Twitter. But I'm going to call this Arrivederci Enrique. So a lot of talk has been made, even here on our programming, is about Mookie Betts potentially never suiting up in Dodger blue. We've also mentioned there are more than just names like Mookie Betts or Mookie and Betts that could be on their way out of L.A. Jock Peterson, for one, which is why he was on the trading block. Pedro Baez is another name that doesn't really get brought up and is more than likely not coming back because of his price tag. We talked at length about Justin Turner, about whether or not LA fans would want him back and all that a few weeks ago. I think that was probably before the shutdown, but we have a video on that on our YouTube channel. Check it out, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Subscribe, thanks. But
thank you.
What about our beloved Kiké Hernandez? So Dodgers picked this guy up at the end of 2014, traded away D. Gordon in a trade that a lot of people still think hamstrung the team for some reason, even though we still have Kike and Austin Barnes out of that trade. He's pretty much been a staple for Los Angeles ever since. So it's crazy to think about how far this guy has come in 6 years. And us three were talking about this earlier today. From the long-haired, curly, or the long-haired, chunky monkey Kike we knew in 2015 and all that kind of stuff, 2014 or 15, 16 to, he became the Banana Man, and then the Madison Bumgarner, just straight killer, and then he was Chase Utley's son, and now there's whatever version of Kike this is. I mean, he's still the same guy in his head, but Gary, I think you're the one who said it earlier. It was a full-on maturation of our beloved or lovable Puerto Rican. So
lovable.
belovable. It's a new word just for Enrique. But what does that future hold for Kiké Hernandez here with the Los Angeles Dodgers? And Brooke, you saw that he chatted a bit about that. I think it was with Vassay, right?
Yeah, I mean, he basically all he said was like, if he's talking about the 2020 season possibly being canceled, and he's like, that would really suck. Like, for the last time I suited up in a Dodgers uniform, that meant something to actually be the 2019 NLDS, which obviously was a huge disappointment for the players, for the fans, for the city. Like, we were not supposed to lose that series. We were supposed to dominate that series. And he's on his last year's contract. And I mean, if you're looking at it, like if you're really looking at it and you're looking at where the dollars are going and what he brings to the team and whether or not he's replaceable as a player, he's probably not a Dodger past this season. I really have a hard time believing that he's a Dodger past this season. I don't know if you have any different opinions on that.
No, he's 28. He's been like sort of handed the keys to second base, but they only paid the rent for a month.
Yep.
So he's never really had that honest opportunity to win and earn and win that and keep that starting job at second base. The dude wants to play somewhere, and him playing, getting 140, 160 plate appearances a year in LA in the long run isn't going to make him a lot of money. Dude's 28. He's a good talent. He's an elite glove wherever you put him. He's turned himself into an elite glove. He's only making $5.5 million this year.
He's also talked about several times that he doesn't want to be called that super utility guy. You can tell he's unhappy not getting the chance to hit against right-handed pitching. He wants to go somewhere where he's a starter. And looking at what he brings to a team, the value he brings in playing a bunch of different positions, he literally can play anywhere on the field if you put him there. He makes sense on a different team. He makes sense on a I don't want to say a lesser team, but Giants. On a lesser team. He fits on the Giants. Yeah.
He would be a starting shortstop, second baseman, even a center fielder for more than half, if not all of the teams besides the Dodgers in baseball. Like, the dude just fits anywhere, and a lot of teams would kill to have him.
Well, not only that, but if you look at it too, so there's different kinds of entertainment in terms of players. There's the Yasiel Puig entertaining type of player, and then there's the Kiké Hernandez entertaining type of player. The Yasiel Puig is like play with reckless abandon, that type of player. Yeah. Very entertaining, can be difficult to manage for sure. Then there's the Kiké Hernandez, which is like, I'm going to goof around, have fun, but I'm not going to hurt anybody in the process. It's not going to slow anything down. It's not going to mess up management. It's not going to mess up my progress. Nothing's going to get in my head in terms of coaching issues. Like, that's never going to be an issue. So he's entertaining. Fans like him. He's obviously like a fan favorite with the Dodgers, and he's pretty much been that since day one of him playing here. And so if you look at the value he brings, you look at the fact that he can play everywhere, the fact that he is a personable player and people like him. I mean, to bring him to a lower market team right now, a team that's not necessarily rebuilding, but maybe is somewhere awkwardly in between where they don't know whether to rebuild or build. And Gary, you said the Giants, and I think the Giants fit perfectly for him next year. I mean, you look at the number of guys who are going to be off that team next year. It's going to be a really young team for the next couple of years, and that's the direction that they're heading. He makes sense there. He's going to make more money there. Yeah, he's not going to get paid here. We have way too many guys that we're going to have to pay over the next 3 to 4 years. Like a lot of dudes that we got to pay over the next 3 to 4 years. So this is the last year of Kiké Hernandez in a Dodger uniform, and I'm thankful. I'm thankful for what he's brought. He had some huge moments, big moments in Dodger uniform. I mean, you think about the championship game, like that moment will go down in Dodgers history forever if you look at that. Well, that's going to be one of those things that you watch on the highlight reel over and over and over again for the next 40, 50 years, because that was his moment. Like everybody has a signature moment in a Dodger uniform at some point. That was his signature moment. He hit 3 home runs. We destroyed the Cubs in that last game, sent us to the first World Series since 1988. I remember feeling so hyped that game and so conflicted that it was because of Kike. I was like, this is weird. This is foreign to me, but I love it. I'm all in. Let's go. We're going to the World Series.
Like he said, it was such an incredible game. They made a utility closet for him at Wrigley Field. There was a specific room just for him. Of course,
Right.
he said it in jest, but
Right.
there's the realistic side of it. He's most likely not coming back. Just professionally, fiscally, it does not make any sense for the kid to come back to LA. Personally, I'll pose the question to either of you guys: do you want him back?
Let's say he came back on a very similar contract, which is not realistic at all. Then yeah, for sure. But if he's a $10 million a year guy, which he very well might be a $10 to $14 million a year guy, then no, I'm okay. I'm fine without that. If there was no money involved, I would love to have him back on the team. Absolutely would love to. But there's money involved.
Well, I mean, it's not your money, so.
It's not, but it is.
You guys know I've been rooting for him for the last 2 years. He's like my breakout player at the beginning of each year. I always thought he was a fun player. But here's the thing, like, I think a lot of people remember how goofy he was when he first started as a Dodger and how what a comedian he was, a good, lighthearted, glue type player for the team. But if you really look at the last 2 to 3 years, after the Chase Utley factor, he's chilled out a lot. He doesn't goof around as much, and he's not going to do that. Like, let's say if we re-sign him, he's not bringing that fun Kike anymore. This is serious Kike now. He wants to be a real baseball player, he wants to be taken seriously, get paid seriously, be given full-time serious play time. I think we're not getting the old Kike if we re-sign him. And that's the stuff that I think a lot of Dodger fans love. He's eye candy for a lot of the ladies, and some of the guys. It could just be, something that's
for the
great.
General audience.
Yeah, for the general audience. Yeah. He's fun, but it's kind of, this is the thing that Dodger fans are going to have to get used to. This is the downside of having a great farm system, because Gavin Lux just made him expendable, and that's why we're going to have to deal with this with Jock and Pedro and a lot of the other players coming up. This is what's going to happen. I wouldn't re-sign him just because, we have a Gavin Lux.
CT3 signing that 2-year deal too also kind of spells more of, hey, this is going to be the guy we go to.
Because realistically, looking at those two guys, they're the exact same player, just in different bodies. That's all it really is. Kike's a Chris Taylor light, I guess. I don't even know what you would call him, but I mean, Chris Taylor signing a contract that it is basically a $5 to $7 million deal each year is like, Kike's gone. That's the guy they're going with for the rest. If they have all those young guys coming up, all these positions are already filled. It doesn't make sense to overpay for both of those guys.
Yeah.
You pick one, you pay that guy whatever he gets paid. Luckily, Chris Taylor didn't want much or didn't bargain for much, so we got the better end of that deal. I feel like, because I think Kike is going to get paid more money than that.
Well, Dodgers Nation, you guys let us know. Does Kiké Hernandez see any more time in Dodger Blue beyond this year? Does he end up signing with an NL rival, an NL West rival? What is the worst color he could possibly end up in? You guys let us know in the comments below, and we'll be looking forward to checking those out. A few of the comments here. John says Mickey Hatcher was the master of goofy Dodgers. Like, getting Mickey and Kike in a room together, that would be pretty, I don't know if it's legendary. But
Mickey is like, he can own the room. Kike doesn't.
Yes.
Kike is.
Yeah. I will
like
100%
give side humor. He's like the,
he's the one who takes jabs at people like off to the side for sure. Yeah, he's definitely that guy.
Mickey is like me.
Yeah.
Unless I'm really just feeling it, then I'll go out and just own the room. But for the most part, I'd rather be in the corner just talking crap about 3 or 4 people. It's my thing. It's
I've been to one of your parties. Yeah.
Like Domingo Ayala says, man, it's God given. Leslie says, heard Kike has ADD. You think?
I didn't know he actually did have it, but if he does, yeah, for sure. That's that would explain a lot. I mean, Gary, you're right. He's definitely undergone a big change, like over the past 2-3 years, for sure. And I'm sure a lot of it is mentorship. He's had guys like Chase Utley and David Freese over him the past couple of years to kind of rein him in. And that's cool. He talks about that all the time, how much it's meant to him, how much it's helped him mature in his own personal life, even aside from baseball. So,
marriage can do that to you too,
Yeah. I don't want anybody to take this in the wrong way, that we don't want Kike on our team. I personally, I would love to see him succeed anywhere he goes. Like, I'll always be happy for him. I'll always be thankful for what he provided for the team. And I hope the best for him. And I hope that if this is his last year, that he does get to play a season and he does get to hoist the World Series trophy at the end of it. Because, I mean, he's been around for a long time. Like, you think about guys who have been around a long time and deserve it. Like, obviously, Kershaw, Turner, Kenley, those are all guys that you're like, those guys deserve a World Series. Kike's in that talk. He's been around.
He's absolutely put in the time. And I guess I technically didn't answer the question that I 1,000% would want him back. And I think there's definitely a number you can't exceed in bringing back a utility guy. Even so, he still does play in 130, 140 games a year. He still does get, over 400 at bats in a season or thereabout. So there's value to him. And the Dodgers wouldn't be in this situation. Obviously, he was somebody who was handpicked. In a way, so was CT3, but also that was a trade of, with him and Zach Lee, that was a trade of failed high round draft picks. Let's just see if a change of scenery works. And we know that it did with CT3. So there isn't as much of a need for both of them, but no way in hell this team would have been, just won their 7th straight division, going away without that kind of depth. And that's the thing that makes the Dodgers, just that much better than every team in the National League when it comes to the regular season, at least, is because they have that depth. They can plug in somebody. When you lose Max Muncy to a fractured wrist at the end of last season, you're able to put in 1 or 2 guys that would be starting for at least half of the other ball clubs, and that's how you win 100 games in a regular season, because you're going to go through the injuries. So if you have that type of premium talent and not, you think back a few years ago when we had people like Rob Segedin coming up, or wait,
Scott Van Slyke.
That card? Scott Van Slyke. I hear he has a nice bat, and Roach got it. But
wow,
those type of players just aren't the same caliber as Kike. So 100% I'd bring the dude back. But again, there's only so far you can take the money. Only so far you can take the finances of it.
Right.
So I'd go.
Well said.
A day, $8 million a day. Anyways, one or two questions, and then let's go ahead and wrap. Tina does not want him to go to the Giants, and neither do I.
Fair
Dan
enough.
says Kike goes to the Stros. I feel terrible because that's the one thing I keep thinking about is him being like that Marwin Gonzalez replacement for going back to the Astros. He came up with the Astros, but
yep.
Yeah, I mean, our girl Sierra's on the stream. She forgot we're on Monday and not on Tuesdays. My bad, we didn't tell you. But we are on Monday. We'll be here every Monday for you guys, unless you really hate it. And then we're going to still be here for you on Mondays. Until the next time we are on, though, we appreciate you for hanging out with us. We are Dodgers Nation. You can find us on the internet at DodgersNation.com. Subscribe to Blue Heaven. We are a podcast, and we are on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM, everywhere podcasts can be digested.
I'm so proud of you for that one, guys. I'm Brooke Me3. This guy probably on this side of me is at Real FRG. We're both on Twitter and Instagram. We are at Dodgers Nation on Twitter, at Official Dodgers Nation on Instagram. And if you go to youtube.com/Dodgers Nation TV, right after this, you can watch the Dodgers play the Cubs. Are they playing the Cubs? Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
It's the Cubs.
They are playing the
At
Cubs,
home.
so make
Yep.
sure you check
Cyber
that
Dodgers.
out.
Check it out.
The Cyber Dodgers are on. Are they in first place yet, Gary?
Tied,
I
think.
No. They just beat the Padres, so they're good
Padres.
to go right now. And then,
Yep. First place Dodgers. Got to go check them out. YouTube.com/Dodgers Nation TV. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thank you for your questions and comments, all of your concerns, and all of your humor. We appreciate all of you. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next Monday.
Or before, whatever.
Or before.
Bye.
Bye.
Deuce.